Hello friends, now we are going to start your 555 timer circuit and its features, a spin diagram, everything we are going to study. But we are going to study from different book, that is integrated circuits. From there are two books, Chaudhary is there and there is a Gaikwad. So this we have taken from Chaudhary according to your syllabus, because internal block diagram of 555 etc. is explained in this particular book. That's why we are slightly shifting from Malvin on Leach to this one. But simultaneously, it is also given in Malvin on Leach. You can refer to that also. That is also very good explanation is there over there. Introduction 8.1. The 555 timer is highly stable device for generating accurate time delay or oscillations. This particular IC is linear integrated circuits. Digital IC is normally, you can consider non-linear integrated circuits. That means a logic gates which can operate either low or high only. But this is prepared from the op-amps, operational amplifier, which is known as a linear integrated circuits. This 555 timer is normally utilized to generate a clock signals. And you know that the clock signal is a heartbeat of any digital system. So normally this clock signal is prepared from 555 timer. And this 555 timer can give you the timing cycle from microseconds to hours, or in some case to the days also. That's why it is known as a timer circuit. The 555 timer is highly stable device for generating accurate time delay or oscillation. Signetic Corporation first introduced this device as SE or any version, SE 555 or any 555. SE 555 is for military operation and any 555 is for the commercial operation. And it is available in two different packages, 8-pin circular type, TO99 CAN type, which is called circular type. So there is a metallic IC CAN will be there, and on the top and bottom, instead of just like in a transistor, there are 3 pins, but here there will be 8 different pins will be there, just like in a transistor at the bottom. So this is called 8-pin circular type. And there is another way also it is available, like just like a IC, dual inline package, but instead of 8 pin, 7 pin, it is only 14 pin, it is 8 pin IC, 4 pin on a lower side and 4 pin on upper side. So total it is 8 pin, so it is called mini DIP, or it is also available in 14 pin DIP, where two 555 timer are packed in a single IC, and that is known as a IC 556 timer, which contains two 555 timers and is a 14 pin DIP. There is also available counter timer such as XR 2240, which contains a 555 timer plus a programmable binary counter in a single 16 pin package. That means this particular IC, which is developed by XR, and the IC number is 2240, which contains 555 timer also as well as a binary counter also. So with a counter, you need a pulsar, you need a pulse or train of the pulses, clock frequency is required, which is provided with the 555 timer in a same IC. A single 555 timer can provide a time delay ranging from microseconds to hours, whereas counter type can have a maximum timing range of days. That means after some days, one single pulse is going to be there. Sorry. So this kind of different IC which was developed by Signetic Corporation. Now, this is a pin diagram of 8 pin IC. From the top side, when you see this is the notch, and the left side from the bottom, you can see that this is the pin number 1, which is called a ground. So all the voltages are generally measured with respect to this ground terminal or reference terminal. The power supply voltage should be given to negative terminal of the power supply should be connected to the ground, or it is as a reference level. Positive terminal should be connected to the pin number 8, which is called VCC, and this IC can range a VCC voltage from 5 volt to 18 volt. So any voltage depending upon you require the output, you can connect here. The VCC voltage can have any voltage from 5 volt to 18 volt. 5 volt is compatible for TTL circuits, and 10 volt, 12 volt is compatible for the CMOS circuit. So wide range of applications can be derived from this IC. This IC is compatible for TTL also as well as for CMOS also. So output of this clock waveform can be given direct either TTL or CMOS IC. Pin number 2 is called the trigger terminal. Trigger terminal means when it's working in a monostable operations or in a bistable operations, you have to trigger this IC. That means the IC is going to be giving you one pulse when it is going to be triggered, and this pin number 2 is a trigger terminal. It is a negative going trigger is required. So normally this pin is kept high, but when it changes from high to low, then it is triggering this IC. When this voltage is less than 1 by 3 of VCC, it will trigger the circuit. Pin number 3 is called the output. So the output pulse you are going to derive from pin number 3. This output can be connected to the VCC also, or it can be connected to the ground. That means from pin number 3 output load. Load means anything which is working as a load. Either it may be the loudspeaker is going to be there, it can be a further circuit is going to be there, or whatever load is there. There are two ways that load resistance, if it is connected to the VCC, then when the output is going to be high, the load current is going to be 0. And when this output pin number 3 is connected to the ground, when output is going to be high, then the current will pass through that load to the grounds. That means this can source and sink a load current of 200 milliampere. That means very high load current it can drive. So it can drive the relays also. So it can be utilized for so many projects, this particular IC. This is the main advantage of this IC. It can source 200, remember, milliampere current as a sourcing current or sinking current. That is the main advantage of this IC. This current is used in electronics. In a normally transistor, we operate the transistor with 2 to 3 milliampere current, while this can drive a 200 milliampere load current. That means it is a very high load current is going to be there. Reset terminal. Reset pin number 4 is a reset terminal. Reset means normally a monostable is a one stable state and one unstable state. So when it is in unstable state, any instant or any intermediate time when it is in unstable state, you can activate this reset terminal to low. Normally it is kept high, but when you make it low, when it makes a transition from high to low, it will be activated and output is going to be interrupt, and output will go from high to low, or it will go from unstable state to the stable state immediately, and it will be residing there. So this is the work function of the reset terminal. Pin number 5 is a control voltage. Normally pin number 5 is connected through 0.01 microfarad capacitor to the ground, because it provides a AC ground, but the DC voltage will be blocked. So it is constant, or any ripple etc., which is going to be generated from VCC that can be grounded from pin number 5. And the timing cycle also can be modified from pin number 5. And how much timing cycle you want to modify? Either amplitude modulations, pulse modulations, etc. can be done using this terminal. That's why it is called control terminal. This application of the 555 as a pulse modulation, etc., or frequency modulations, etc., which you are going to study in TY. That is, for that, this terminal is normally utilized. Pin number 6 is called threshold terminal. So here it gives the threshold terminal. Upper comparator reference voltage is connected to pin number 6. So when the capacitor is going to be discharged and when the capacitor is going to be charged, that is decided 2 by 3 VCC at this particular terminal. Pin number 7 is a discharge terminal because the internally the collector of the transistor is connected to the pin number 7, and this transistor is normally on only. That means it is conducting, always it is in a saturation. So through this pin there is an internal transistor which is always conducting, and that's why any capacitor which is connected to the pin number 7, it is going to be discharged to the ground, or it remains to be uncharged until the transistor is going to be off. Otherwise, it makes short circuit for the capacitor and it will remains to be discharged only. These are the work function of different pin IC. I think the same thing is discussed here. This is a pin diagram of the same IC. Now the description may be there. The 555 timer can be used with a supply voltage in the range of plus 5 volt to plus 18 volt and can drive a load up to 200 milliampere current. This is the characteristic of the 555 timer. You can say that with this voltage and current it can work. It is compatible with both TTL and CMOS logic circuits. So these are the specification, remember, of 555 timer. It is compatible with both TTL as well as CMOS logic circuits because of the wide range of supply voltage. The 555 timer is a versatile and easy to use in various applications. Various application includes oscillators, pulse generator, rev generator, square wave generator, monosort multivibrator, burglar alarms, traffic light control, and voltage monitor, and so many other applications can be or projects can be derived using this particular IC. So variety of the circuits you can prepare using 555 timer IC. Now description of functional diagram of this IC. Figure 8.1 gives the pin diagram and figure 8.2 gives the functional diagram of 555 IC timer. Referring to the figure 8.2, three 5K resistance act as a voltage divider. So there are three 5K resistors connected in series with the power supply VCC and ground, and output you can take from one resistance, output you can take from the two different resistors. That way the different voltage you can derive 1 by 3 VCC and 2 by 3 VCC using this voltage divider circuit, and hence this IC is called, because of this 555K resistance, it is called 555 timer, 555 timer or 555 timer. We'll see that resistance act as a voltage divide, provided a voltage of 2 by 3 VCC to the upper comparator and 1 by 3 VCC to the lower comparator as the reference voltage, whereas VCC is the supply voltage. Since these two voltages fix the necessary comparator threshold voltage, they also aid in determining the timing interval. It is possible to vary the time electronically too by applying a modulation voltage to the control voltage input pin number 2, pin number 5. So at pin number 5, if from outside you can apply a DC voltage or AC voltage, that is called modulations. It will add to the original reference voltage of 2 by 3 VCC, and that way that 2 by 3 VCC can be increased or decreased, or it can be modulated, and hence you can say that pulse width can be varied, and that way the pulse modulation can be obtained. In application where no such modulation is intended, it is recommended by manufacturers that a capacitor of 0.01 microfarad can be connected between control voltage, that is pin number 5, and ground to bypass noise or ripple from the supply voltage. So, this is the internal block diagram of 555 timer. Here pin number 8, where you are connecting your VCC voltage. This is first resistance 5 kilo ohms. This is the second one, and this is going to be the third one. And the lower terminal of this resistance is connected to the ground. That means this 5K, this 5K, and this 5K, they are connected in series and with this power supply. So, from this terminal between this resistors 1 and 2, in between you can derive a voltage which is going to be 1 by 3 of the VCC, and between 2 and 3 the voltage you can obtain, that is called 2 by 3 VCC. So, this 1 by 3 VCC is connected to this is lower comparator, this is upper comparator. So, one of the input of this lower comparator, that is a positive input of the lower comparator, you are connecting this reference voltage of 1 by 3 VCC. That means 1 by 3 VCC is the reference voltage for lower comparator, and similarly 2 by 3 reference voltage is for upper comparator. Here you can see that this is connected to the inverting terminal. Here it is connected to non-inverting terminal, that is positive terminal. Here it is connected to the negative terminal. Remember, here another input, that is another terminal of this lower comparator negative, which is connected to the pin number 2, which is known as a trigger terminal. Similarly, here plus terminal of upper comparator is called a threshold terminal, pin number 6, and this is the collector of this transistor Q1 is acting as a discharge terminal, pin number 7. Pin number 1 is a ground. This is the point. Pin number 1 is a ground. Here, output of this two comparator, upper comparator and lower comparator, are connected to the normal basic RS flip-flops, and R is connected, output of the upper comparator is connected to the reset terminal, and output of the lower comparator is connected to the set terminal of basic RS flip-flop. Output of the flip-flops, there are two outputs, one is a Q, another one is a Q bar, and output of this Q bar is connected to the base of the transistor Q1 as well as the power amplifier, which is inverter, not gate only, you can consider. So, whatever this Q bar is there, that is inverted, and that will be your output terminal, pin number 3. Normally, this kept as a stable state, that means output will be in the low state. So, you can consider when the output is going to be in the low state, stable state, that means the input of this power amplifier should be high, that means Q bar is going to be high and Q is going to be low. Q and Q bar are complement to each other. This is a flip-flop. So, R and S will decide that what is the condition of Q and Q bar. So, this is a basic RS latch or flip-flop which is having two outputs, Q and Q bar. Here we have utilized Q bar, and this transistor is a PNP transistor. That emitter is kept as a reference voltage, base is called the reset terminal, pin number 4. This is the functional diagram of 555 timer. In the standby stable state, the output Q bar of the control flip-flop is high. This makes the output low because the power amplifier, which is basically an inverter, a negative going trigger pulse is applied to the pin number 2 and should have its DC level greater than threshold level of the lower comparator, that is VCC by 3. At this negative going edge of the trigger, as the trigger passes through VCC by 3, the output of the lower comparator goes high and set the flip-flop. That is going to be Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is going to be 0. During this position, positive exertion, when the threshold voltage at pin number 6 passes through 2 by 3 VCC, the output of the upper comparator goes high and reset the flip-flop. Q is equal to 0 and Q bar is equal to 1. The reset pin number 4, provides a mechanism to reset the flip-flop in a manner which overrides the effect of any instruction coming from flip-flop from lower comparator. This is overriding reset is effective when the reset input is less than 0.4 volt. So how it works, I can explain here in the circuit itself better, you understand. Here, normally, if trigger terminal is high, you can see this is the trigger pulse is given. Normally, it is kept high. So, at negative terminal of the comparator is high. Positive terminal of the comparator is 1 by 3 VCC. High means it is almost VCC. So, this negative terminal is higher potential. So, output of this one lower comparator is going to be 0. So, S is going to be 0 here. Similarly, what happens here? This comparator threshold terminal is also a lower voltage, 0 voltage, because the voltage across the capacitor is going to be 0. So, this voltage is going to be 0 and pin number 5, control terminal or reference terminal, this voltage is 2 by 3 VCC, and so this negative terminal potential is higher than positive terminal potential. So, output of the upper comparator is also 0. It means R is equal to 0, S is equal to 0, no change condition, and normally the flip-flop is in stable state and it is output is going to be 0. That means Q is equal to 0 and Q bar is going to be 1. Q bar is going to be 1. That means the output is going to be inverted and output pin number 3 is going to be low. So, that is very stable state. Simultaneously, Q bar is going to be high. That means base emitter junction of this transistor Q1 is forward bias. So, this transistor Q1 is always conducting. That means transistor Q1 is conducting. That means there is a current is flowing from pin number 7 and from collector to the emitter and ground. So, if there is a capacitor is connected here, it provides a short circuit across that capacitor and potential across that capacitor is going to be almost 0. So, this way normally it is working. Reset terminal is normally kept high because if we are not activating that reset terminal, it is kept high. So, this transistor is not going to be intervene this voltage at Q bar. But when the reset voltage is changed from high to low, that means this transistor is going to be off and it will see that this voltage is going to be off and again it is going to be 1 and it means that output going to be 0. So, that way it will reset the output which is in unstable state which was high, it is immediately come back to the low state, that is in a stable state. Now, monostable operation. What is the monostable? First of all, you understand this monostable means stable, bistable and monostable. In a output of any circuitry is having two different states. Either the output is going to be in the low state or output is going to be high state. So, digital devices are of two states and if both the states are stable state, then we say it is a bistable devices. That means if it is low, it remains low, it will be latched into the low state, it will memorize the low state. If something is not going to be done, it will remain into that state. That is called a stable state. So if it is low and nothing is going to be done, it will be remains into the low state. If you provide a trigger pulse, then something is going to be happen and it will go from low state to high state. And if that is also stable state, it will be reside there until something is going to be done. That means both the state, low state as well as high state, both the state are stable state. That is called bistable operation. If there is a monostable operation, means one of the state is stable, that is normally low state is stable. So output of the monostable circuit is normally in a low state, that is the stable state. When something is going to be happen, when the trigger pulse is provided, it will go from low state to high state. But this high state is not a stable state, it is unstable state. It is seemingly stable state, and the output will remain into the high state for certain period of time, for a predetermined time, and then again automatically without doing anything it will come back to the stable state, that is in a low state. That means it will provide a one pulse, and that's why it is called one shot, or it is called monostable. Mono means one stable state and one unstable state or seemingly stable state, or it is called, we say that it is unstable state. So this way the monostable operation is going to be there. And astable operation means nothing is going to be stable state. It will be back and forth between low and high. It may be in the low state for certain period of time, let us say T1. Then it will be automatically go to the high state. It will reside into the high state for certain amount of time, which is called T2. Again, automatically it will come back to the previous state. Again, after that time interval T1, again it will go to the T2. That means it will back and forth between low and high state, and that way it will generate a clock pulses. That means series of the pulses are going to be generated. In astable circuit, you don't require an input trigger pulse. In a monostable and bistable, you require a input trigger pulse. Remember this thing. So first we are going to study about the monostable operation, and next lecture we are going to study about astable operation. So this 8.3 is the first we are going to operate with the monostable operation. Figure 8.3 shows a 555 timer connected for monostable, and its functional diagram is shown in figure 8.4. This monostable and astable are very important circuits, and they generate the clock pulses. Astable operation generate the clock pulses, which is required according to your uh, uh, requirements. It is produce a clock waveforms, and monostable, which is providing timing circuits. That means a duration of the pulse which is going to be generated at particular stop time, and that is very important to trigger some of the digital circuits. So they are much utilized in a project for etc. That practical also you are going to do in semester 4. Figure 8.3 shows 555 timer connected for monostable operation, and its functional diagram is shown in figure 8.4. In the standby state, flip-flop hold transistor Q1 on because the output of the flip-flop Q1 bar, Q bar is high, Q is low, and Q1 is connected to the base of the transistor Q1, and base emitter junction of the transistor Q1 is going to be high, so this transistor is always on. Thus, the clamping the external timing capacitor C to the ground, that means it provides short circuit across the capacitor C, which is going to be connected outside. So capacitor remains to be discharged. The voltage potential difference across the capacitor is going to be 0 only. The output remains at ground potential low as the trigger passes through VCC by 3. That means when the trigger pulse is changing from high to low, and when it makes a transition and its voltage becomes less than VCC by 3, the flip flop is going to be set, and Q bar is changed from 1 to 0, which means the base voltage becomes 0. Base voltage becomes 0, base emitter junction is going to be reverse bias. That means this transistor is now not conducting. Its output is going, its Q point is going from saturation to cutoff, and transistor act as an open switch. So it is disconnected across the capacitor. And that is Q1. Q bar is also as the input of power amplifier, which is inverter. So output is changing from low to high, and that means it is going from low state to the high state, and high state it will remain for predetermined interval of time. This makes the transistor Q1 off, and the short circuit across the timing capacitor C is released as QR is low. Output goes high, that is equal to almost VCC. The timing cycle now begins since C is unclamped and voltage across it is increasing. That means capacitor start charging through external resistance which is connected to the VCC, and the junction of capacitor and this resistance which is connected to the pin number 6, that is a threshold terminal. The timing capacitor now begins since C is unclamped, voltage across it rises exponentially through R towards the VCC with a timing constant RC, time constant RC. So you can see there here pin number 6 and 7, they are connected to the junction of resistance R and C. C, one terminal is connected to the ground, another terminal is connected to the threshold terminal of upper comparator, and discharge terminal of that collector of the transistor, and this is connected to the VCC. So now because of these things we have seen that this terminal is open. That means the capacitor starts charging through this resistance, and when its voltage increasing about 2 by 3 VCC, then this voltage of the upper comparator, if you want to see, we can go through that particular. If this voltage, this reference voltage is 2 by 3 VCC at 5 number, and at 6 number, if it is more than 2 by 3 VCC, then output of the upper comparator is going to be 1, or it is going to be positive, and hence R is going to be 1, S is going to be 0 at that time. It is a reset condition for the flip flop, and the flip flop is going to be reset. That means Q becomes 0, and again Q bar becomes 1, which will see that this transistor Q1 start conducting, and the capacitor which was disconnected from pin number 7 is again short circuited through this transistor, and capacitor immediately discharge through this transistor Q1. So the current through the capacitor is going through pin number 7 to the collector, to the emitter, and to the ground. This way the capacitor is discharging. As in figure 8.5b, after a time period t calculated later, the capacitor voltage is just greater than 2 by 3 VCC, and the upper comparator reset the flip flop. Thus R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 0, assuming very small trigger pulse width. This makes Q bar again 1, and transistor Q1 is again going to be on, or it is saturated, thereby discharge capacitor C rapidly to the ground potential. Thus the output returns to the standby or stable state or ground potential as shown in figure 8.5c. So this way, if external circuit with this one is connected, it is shown here. Normally this is your RS flip flop, this is upper comparator, this is lower comparator, external components are connected. Pin number 7 is connected to the junction of RNC. RNC is very important. This capacitor is charging through the resistance R. So charging time of the capacitor is going to be charging Normally, this transistor is on. So what happens? The capacitor cannot be charged, and the potential across the capacitor is going to be 0. So it remains to be 0, but the potential here is almost, you can say that it is the voltage of this 0 initially, and this voltage was 2 by 3 VCC. Now when the trigger terminal is going to be activated, that means it will be trigger this terminal, this potential is going to be lower than this potential, and hence output becomes 1, S is going to be 1, that means it will set the flip flop, Q becomes 1, Q bar is going to be 0, and this terminal is going to be 0, so output goes to the high state. So normally stable state is going to be low state, it will go into the high state. Now what happens after that? Q1, which is going to be cut off. So capacitor starts charging, and capacitor is charging and increasing its potential exponentially, because you know that capacitor start charging and the timing of the charging is equal to 1 upon our RC time constant, depending upon the value of R and C. And when the voltage across the capacitor increasing up to 2 by 3 VCC, then output of this comparator is going to be 1. It will reset the flip flop, and Q becomes 0 and Q bar again becomes 1. So this is inverted, and output immediately switch from high level to low level. So this is the timing interval T of the pulse which is going to be generated, and this timing interval T, which depends upon RC time constant. The voltage across the capacitor, as in figure 85b, is given by Vc is equal to Vcc into 1 minus e raised to minus small t upon Rc. Small t is nothing but time. At any instant of time, what is the potential across the capacitor, which can be obtained from this formula. This is the exponential charging of capacitor. Now you know that at time is equal to t, when it goes from unstable state to again back to the stable state, that time is a pulse duration t. At that time, potential across the capacitor is going to be up to 2 by 3 VCC. So Vc is equal to 2 by 3 VCC. We can compare this to equation, and by comparing this to equation, 2 by 3 VCC is equal to VCC into 1 minus e raised to minus capital T upon RC. Here small t is replaced by capital T, and by cancelling this VCC and taking this term this side, e raised to T upon RC this side, and that is going to be positive. So and taking the log on both the side, we can say that T upon RC is equal to log of 1 by 3, 1 minus 2 by 3, that is going to be 1 by 3. So and taking this log of to the base e, that is called ln, 1 by 3, and this value of log 1 by 3 is equal to 1.1. So this timing during which it remains into the unstable state, that period is equal to 1.1 into RC second. It is evident from the equation 8.2 that the timing interval is independent of the supply voltage. So in this equation, that is timing during which it remains into the unstable state, or the period of that pulse width does not depend upon VCC anywhere. It is evident from the equation 8.3 that the timing interval is independent of the supply voltage. It may also be noted that once triggered, the output remains into the high state until the time t elapses, which depends only upon the value of R and C. Any additional trigger pulse coming during this time will have not changed the output stage. That means it is immune to any other trigger when it is already in unstable state. However, if a negative going reset pulse, as in a figure 8.5d, is applied to the reset terminal pin number 4, then it can immediately come back from the high state to the low state. That means from unstable state to the stable state, or it can be reset immediately, and its timing interval can be interrupted using reset terminal. During the timing cycle, transistor Q2 going off, Q1 becomes on, An external timing capacitor C is immediately discharged. The output now will be as in figure 8.5e. It means it may be seen that the output of Q2 is connected directly to the input of Q1. So, as to turn on Q1 immediately and thereby avoid the propagation delay through the flip flop. That is the reasons why it is connected directly with the output of flip flop. So, it can give on directly to the power amplifier inverter. This is the waveform. So, this is the trigger pulse. Trigger pulse is normally high. When it makes the transition from high to low, and when its output voltage, trigger voltage, is becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC, then the circuit is going to be triggered, and capacitor voltage is going to be start charging at that time. So at this instant of time, you can say that capacitor is charging exponentially. So this is the exponential voltage of charging voltage across the capacitor, and this is your output. So output is normally in a stable state, that is in the low state. When it triggers the circuit, when the capacitor starts charging, at that time you can say that output goes to the high state. Now how much time it is residing into the high state? That is depending upon these things. Capacitors start charging until 2 by 3 VCC. Again, the output of the upper comparator is going to be high and it will reset the flip flops, and hence output is going to be low immediately. And you can see that this output is going to be unstable state to the stable state, and it will provide one pulse. This pulse is having a duration of capital T. This capital T is equal to 1.1 R into C. It depends upon the value of R and C only. This is your output. This is the timing cycle it is providing. Now see what reset pulse can be done. This is your reset terminal, pin number 4. Normally it is connected high, so it is remains inactive. But when it makes active, when it changing from high to low, when output is already in intermediate state, that means it is already in unstable state, when it is already high, at that time when reset is going to be activated from high to low, at that time the output is going to be interrupted, and output suddenly at that instant of time goes from high to low. So that is the work function of reset terminal here. If the reset is released, the output will still remain into the low state until the next negative going trigger pulse is again applied at pin number 2. Figure 8.6 shows a graph of various combination of RNC necessary to produce a given time delay. So here you can see that this is the different value of the capacitor and different value of the resistance. Resistance, if it is taken 1K, if the resistance is taken 10K, resistance is taken 100K, 1 megohms, 10 megohms, like that way, and for that various combination of the time is obtained through this graph. So depending upon 1 milliseconds, 10 millisecond, 100 millisecond, 1 second, 10 second, 100 second, what you require, different combination, you can intersect this one, resistance and capacitor, and you can choose that value of the resistance and capacitor, you can substitute here, and accordingly you will obtain the desired time period for a desired pulse. So this graph is useful for selecting the value of resistance and capacitor. Sometimes a monostable circuit of figure 8.3 mistriggered on positive pulse edge also, even with control pin bypass the capacitor. To prevent this, a modified circuit as shown in figure 8.7 is used. Here the resistor and capacitor combination of 10K and 0.001 microfarad at the input forms a differentiator circuit. During the positive going edge of the trigger, diode D becomes forward bias, thereby limiting the amplitude of positive spike to 0.7 volt. So what happens for a negative going pulse, nothing is required for the triggering. But sometimes what happens? This positive going trigger, when it goes from low to high, and that positive trigger also it can trigger this IC. So to prevent that one, this capacitors 0.001 and resistance of 10K is connected, so they will produce a differentiator circuit, and that differentiator spike is going to be obtained like this one. So and this voltage is going to be less than 0.7 volt, which will not able to trigger this IC, and that way it will prevent from false triggering. Now related with this, one example is there. Depending upon deriving the necessary duration of the pulse, you require what value of the capacitor and resistor. So one resistance or one capacitor is given to you, and you have to find out the value of other one. In the most stable multivibrator of figure 8.3, R is equal to 100 kilo ohms and the time delay T duration is 100 millisecond is required. Calculate the value of the capacitor, verify the value of C obtained from the graph of figure 8.6. From the equation, C is equal to T is equal to 1.1 into R into C. So the value of C is equal to capital T upon 1.1 R. We can substitute. T is required 100 millisecond. 100 millisecond means 100 into 10 raised to minus 3 second. Divide by 1.1 into resistance. Resistance is 100K. So 100 into 10 raised to minus 3. This 10 raised to minus 3 will come into the numerator. So it becomes 10 raised to minus 6. That is microfarad. This 100 and this 100 will cancel out. That means 1 upon 1.1, and that is approximately 0.9 microfarad value of the capacitor is required. From the graph of figure 8.6, the value of C is found to be 0.9 microfarad also. You can see here. We will see that graph again. So, if I am taking the value of the resistance is going to be 100K, you require 100 milliseconds. That means here, and corresponding to this one, if you intersect this graph and you intersect on the capacitor, it is slightly less than 0.1. That means 0.9 microfarad capacitors is required. Somewhere here. So 0.9 microfarad capacitor is required from this graph also. So it will match with the calculated value. Thank you very much, friends.